Galactic Log 7742. A. Confidential transmission to the Council of 12 Systems. From Commander Zeldar, Director of Hostile Species Containment. Subject: Earth Specimen, Class Red Prime. Codename: the Baba Yaga. They say no human can escape a Class 7 gravity containment orb. They said it the last 5 times. They also said no Earthling without plasma in their blood could survive a direct neural link to the hive grid. They never met her. The orb hovered in silence, suspended in the sterilized silence of Observation Chamber Delta. Inside sat the subject. Humanoid, female, aged approximately 82 Earth years. Gray hair, floral shawl, wrinkled hands, one of which held a steaming teacup. She sipped. Deliberate. Slow. As if gravity and imprisonment were optional. "I don't bite," she had said when we approached. "Unless you're rude." We were rude. Technician Friplo was the first casualty. Not physically, she didn't touch him. He simply walked into the room and began to cry. Loudly. Then quietly. Then he asked to go back to his egg sac and write poetry. Our scans revealed no weapons. No implants. No symbiotic parasites. But the AI flagged 3 things. The tea, classified as a narcotic by 6-star systems. The shawl, woven with metallic threads unidentifiable even by hive logic. And her shoes, soft, fluffy rabbit-themed slippers that somehow pulsed with a heat signature beyond the gamma range. We ran diagnostics. The diagnostics ran from us. "She's smiling again," said Enforcer Clegg, stepping back from the orb with a trembling mandible. "Why is she smiling?" We didn't know. That's what made it worse. The Galactic Council had ordered her capture after intercepting fragments of old Earth comms. Among them, tales of a mythical woman feared even by Earth warlords. Nicknames like the Old Ghost, Cradle Death, and BY, which Earth agents clarified stood for Baba Yaga. When pressed for more, the humans just laughed. Now she was here. And the laughter was ours. Nervous. Hysterical. Day 2. She asked for a rocking chair. We refused. She asked for cookies. We refused. She whistled the theme from an Earth show titled Murder, She Wrote, until we begged her to stop. She smiled and switched to the A-Team. When we tried a mind probe, it triggered something. Technician Borgil's probe overloaded. His last coherent sentence was, "She's thinking about soup recipes, but there's war in it. There's war in her soup." We called in the diplomats. High Chancellor Plenth arrived with 7 guards and the royal apology banner. Baba Yaga watched as he read a carefully translated speech of appeasement. She nodded once, then leaned forward. "I forgive you, child," she said softly. He burst into flames. No fire. No heat. Just combusted. What remained was folded neatly and smelled of cinnamon. Now we keep her behind 37 energy fields. Not for her safety. For ours. She hasn't moved since breakfast. We're not sure she needs to. Galactic Memo. Internal use only. Subject: Review of Earth archive footage, requested by Counselor GXNAR. A review of Earth cultural material retrieved from the subject's personal satchel revealed artifacts once considered harmless. VHS cassettes, DVDs, old rotary phones, and 1 battered metal lunchbox labeled Rambo. AI interpretive analysis rated all content as aggressive nostalgia. The following were flagged as potential Earth combat training footage. Home Alone, Part 2 Advanced Guerrilla Warfare. Golden Girls, Psychological Manipulation via Charm and Sass. Die Hard, One-Man Siege Protocol. Little House on the Prairie, Rural Conditioning Techniques. Matlock, Legal Warfare. The AI concludes that Earth females above age 60 are systematically trained in passive-aggressive resistance, tactical emotional damage, and chemical warfare through baked goods. Day 4. Containment breach. Except, not in the usual way. Observation Chamber Delta remains intact. The orb still hovers. But it's empty. Where once there was an old woman drinking tea, there is now only a folded shawl, 2 still steaming teacups, and a small note written in Earth script. Gone to get my rolling pin. That message alone caused 2 junior officers to defect and apply for asylum on a lava planet. Security footage shows nothing. Literally nothing. 60 minutes of black screen. Not static. Just the absence of image. When played in reverse, faint humming is audible, recognized by Earth archives as a lullaby sung by a character called Mrs. Potts. The rocking chair she requested now sits in the center of the room. It wasn't there before. We ran DNA scans on it. Somehow it's partially alive. Day 5. Emergency session of the Council of 12 Systems. Counselor Vel Arr demanded we retaliate. No more niceties. We exterminate. He choked on a peppermint seconds later. Unclear where it came from. His last words were, "She's in the vents." She wasn't. But the peppermint had a small note wrapped around it. Tisk tisk. We elevated Earth to red-level quarantine. Too late. Reports filtered in from other quadrants. Entire ships found adrift, crew unharmed but deeply unsettled. All report the same. Freshly baked pies cooling on the bridge. Tea sets. Folded laundry. No signs of entry. No signs of exit. Only peace. Deep, disturbing peace. Commander Vrox of the 7th Armored Legion resigned after his fleet received unsolicited scarves. Each one handmade. Each bearing a stitch mark in galactic binary. Good boys don't point guns. Day 7. Technician Friplo returned. He's calmer now. Serene. Reassigned himself to Terran textile studies and smiles constantly. Too much. Too wide. We asked him what happened. She told me to drink chamomile and stop acting like I was born in a hatchery, he said. Technician Friplo was born in a hatchery. She said it anyway. He now knits. In complete silence. We can't make him stop. Final Council report. Subject is at large. Estimated power level. Unmeasurable. Allegiances. Unknown. Threat level. Maximum, but only if provoked. We now believe the Baba Yaga is not a singular entity. She is a state of being. A culmination of every tired, disrespected, underestimated elder who watched the galaxy ignore her warnings for too long. Some say she is a myth. Others say she's a weapon forged by Earth's Cold War. All we know is this: we poked the bear. The bear baked us cookies. And now it watches. Closing transmission from Commander Zeldar. To any who receive this, if you find a human woman with soft slippers, humming a song no longer known, carrying a kettle or a folded chair, turn around. Leave the sector. Abandon your pride. Because you did not contain her. You invited her. And she always brings dessert. Galactic Incident Log. Teacup active. Priority 1 red. Location: Sector 7G, formerly designated Earth Observation Block 4. Commanding Officer: General Kor Vask, Mantari Elite Recon Division. The briefing room smelled of burnt ozone and scorched pride. General Vask stood before the largest tactical holomap ever projected inside a Class 6 mobile war station. It displayed a simple rural Earth plot: green hills, wooden structures, something called a porch swing. At its center, one blinking red dot. The Baba Yaga. Operation Teacup is live, Vask growled. His voice was gravel and radiation. His soldiers, 90 of the Empire's deadliest shapeshifting, bone-harvesting, fear-feeding commandos, shifted nervously. We don't engage, Vask continued. We secure. We contain. We do not speak to her. We do not eat anything she offers. And if she offers us pie, he paused, letting the weight settle. We run. Sergeant Blake's 400 pounds of armored mandibles and fused thorax plating raised a claw. Sir, permission to ask, is this really about one human? The room fell quiet. General Vask's third eye twitched. This human, he said, pulling up holographic footage of the prior incident, disabled an entire orbital station using only a smile, a teacup, and a line from a movie called Steel Magnolias. A pause. And what line was that, sir? Blakes asked, blinking his compound eyes. Vask inhaled like he was swallowing a fire. She said, I'm not crazy. I've just been in a very bad mood for 40 years. 3 officers resigned. 1 we haven't found yet. No one spoke again. The dropship screamed through Earth's upper atmosphere at Mach 9, trailing a stream of flame and shattered decorum. Inside, Mantari Elite Unit Number 007, nicknamed the Boyle Squad, prepared for insertion. Weapons checked. Neural inhibitors calibrated. Emotion dampeners online. Sergeant Blake's exhaled. I've fought telekinetic squid monks and survived the love virus from Venus Gamma. I'm not afraid of a grandma. Private Chkor next to him held up a photo of the Baba Yaga, taken from orbit. The image was blurry, but her stare pierced through the lens like a spiritual audit. She knit that scarf, Chkor muttered. From our commander's dreadlocks. He's still bald. Blake's muttered something about psychological warfare, and turned his attention back to the deployment coordinates. The cabin came into view as they descended through the tree line. Old. Quaint. Smelled like cinnamon and sarcasm. Wind chimes tinkled ominously. The squad deployed in formation, scanning the perimeter with plasma rifles and thermal imagers. No threats. Except, of course, the freshly baked pie cooling on the windowsill. Sergeant Blake signaled to Specialist Kryn to sweep the area. I'm detecting. Tranquility, sir, Kryn whispered, sweating lavender mist. Dangerously high levels of calm. It's unnatural. Blake's approached the front porch. The door creaked open. And there she was. Knitting. A floral dress. Gray bun. Bare feet. Eyes that knew the full history of your species and still judged your posture. Well now, she said, not looking up. They sent more of you. You boys hungry? Kryn's gun vibrated. Blake's communicator sparked. No sudden moves. Blake sparked. You are under Galactic Containment Directive Zeta-1. She looked up slowly, like a bear who heard something rustle in the bushes but wasn't impressed. Oh, I'm under something all right, she said. A quilt. She held up a half-finished blanket with alien skulls embroidered on it. The team moved inside. Carefully. As trained. As programmed. There were no traps. No force fields. No defenses. Just teacups on doilies. And a rocking chair that moved. On its own. Chkor wandered near the fireplace. Hey, what's a VHS? He asked, picking up a tape labeled, Walker, Texas Ranger. The chair immediately turned to face him. He dropped the tape. It was caught midair by Baba Yaga. Careful, she said. That one trained me. She smiled. Chkor fainted. Outside, the surveillance drone captured footage of a secondary anomaly. The rocking horse on the porch, previously inert, was now slowly rocking. Without wind. The data was transmitted back to HQ. HQ self-destructed in response. Meanwhile, in the cabin, Blake's attempted diplomacy. Per Article 9 of the Intergalactic Subjugation Treaty, Earth Elders are to be processed for pacification and archival. She nodded gently. And under Earth law, anyone interrupting a woman's knitting is declared rude. Shall we reconcile? Kryn activated the sonic destabilizer. It jammed. Then played ABBA. Loudly. From somewhere. Baba Yaga reached into a drawer and pulled out cookies. These have cinnamon, she said, offering them to Kryn. He resisted. She raised one eyebrow. He ate one. He began to cry. My mother used to bake these, he whispered. Baba Yaga patted his shoulder. I am your mother now, she said softly. The rest of the squad retreated. Officially it was a tactical repositioning. Unofficially it was pants wetting. Only Blake's remained. He tried to aim his gun. It drooped. Literally. The weapon deconstructed itself into spoons. She reached out and touched his cheek. You're not a bad boy, Blake's, she whispered. Just misunderstood. He screamed. She put a blanket over his shoulders. He stopped screaming. And began to knit. 10 minutes later, the cabin was empty. The rocking chair rocked gently. The pie was gone. Only a note remained, pinned to the door with a crochet needle. Try harder next time. Bring butter. Galactic debriefing. High Command emergency review. Commander Vask sat at the head of a smoldering conference table. Blake's was next to him, peacefully knitting. Humming. Vask didn't look well. She deconstructed our best weapons, reprogrammed our morale AI to show episodes of the Golden Girls, and now half my elite squad is requesting reassignment to textile arts. The High Command stared, speechless. She doesn't use force, Vask said, pouring whiskey into his coffee. She is force. A new junior officer entered. Sir, there's more. He placed a box on the table. Inside were fresh muffins. Still warm. Vask leaned in. His pupils dilated. On each muffin, a single message. Next time, bring coffee. The room fell silent. Should we attack again? Someone whispered. Vask exhaled, slow. Long. Measured. No. We plan. We strategize. We regroup. His hand trembled as he took a bite. Operation Butterball begins at dawn. Final log entry. Operation Teacup. Status: failure. Casualties: none, physically. Psychological fallout: catastrophic. Baba Yaga's current location: unknown. Rumors spread across the sectors. Ships report sudden appearances of knitted items on the bridge. Entire crews pause battle simulations to drink chamomile. A battleship exploded when someone tried to insult Earth breakfast foods within signal range of the cabin. The galaxy is changing. Quietly. Softly. One baked good at a time. And somewhere, far below the stars, an old woman rocks in her chair. Waiting. Galactic Council chambers hadn't been full in centuries. Not since the Treaty of Crushed Suns or the saucer scandal of Zentar Prime. But tonight, all 12 systems were represented. Each delegate flanked by security drones, emotion scramblers, and legal interpreters. A massive holosign blinked above the dais in 3 languages. Emergency Summit. Human Threat Classification. Ali Baba Yaga. The opening speaker, Counselor Draxel of the Orlok Cluster, cleared his throat through 3 spiracles. She's a myth, he declared. A bedtime threat for Terran offspring. A cultural phantom with well-publicized delusions of culinary dominance. The room murmured. Counselor Sur of the Chrysanth Dominion rose next. She tossed a data crystal onto the table. It sparked to life. Grainy footage of the Mantari elite's failed Operation Teacup played in silence. Soldiers crying. Guns melting. Hi. She made them knit, Sur said, voice trembling. She turned seasoned killers into scarf artisans. Several counselors winced. One fainted at the word scarf. Then the holocom AI flickered. An image appeared, blurry at first, then sharpening. A woman in a rocking chair, backlit by firelight, wearing reading glasses and a knitted shawl that pulsed faintly with antimatter energy. Hello, dearies, said Baba Yaga. Panic erupted. Security drones fired at the hologram. The table flipped. One representative tried to crawl into a ventilation shaft. I come in peace, Baba Yaga said. But also, Peach Cobbler. Someone screamed. The feed cut. Counselor Gorks of the slime world stood, slime sizzling with anxiety. She accessed our encrypted channels, he hissed. That should be impossible. That chair, was it dimensional? Dimensional and armed, replied Counselor Sur grimly. One of my aides disrespected her Afghan pattern, and now speaks only in Earth riddles. A new vote was called. Options. Offer peace. Offer surrender. Pretend Earth never existed. No consensus was reached. Meanwhile, on a quiet asteroid somewhere near the Altric Rim, Baba Yaga was planting tomatoes. A small hovering AI assistant blinked nervously at her. Ma'am, council protocols require you to. She patted the drone. Hush now. I'm busy. But they called you a Galactic-class threat. She sighed. They always do that when a woman stops saying please. She tucked a rogue gray strand into her bun, and hummed a tune that made passing birds forget how to fly. Back on the council world, a desperate plan formed. Ambassador Hurl, a gelatinous empath with no known fear response, was volunteered to speak directly with her. He arrived at her garden with 6 interpreters, a peace banner, and a bundt cake made in an interstellar replicator. She was already waiting with real cake. Hurl bowed. "I come in peace, O legendary one." "I am peaceful," she replied. "It's you who keeps knocking while I'm trying to plant squash." The drone interpreters hovered nervously. One whispered, "We recommend not mentioning microwaves." Ambassador Hurl bowed again. "May I ask why you've become active?" She paused, looking over her shoulder. "Because," she said quietly, "I was forgotten, disrespected. They took Earth's old warriors and laughed. Thought a little age made us soft." She walked to her porch, tapped the step twice. It folded open to reveal an interstellar communications node older than the Council itself. "They laughed at my rocking chair," she added. "Didn't realize it was programmed with Cold War encryption." Ambassador Hurl's gelatin quivered. At the next summit meeting, the footage from her porch node was presented. Inside the data was her full dossier, coded Earth files labeled BY classified. Her background came to light. Not a myth. Not a legend. A retired operative from Earth's 1980s defense network, Project Nightshade. Mission history. Poisoned an alien ambassador using only lemon bars. Survived the first wormhole collapse by just stepping slightly to the left. Trained a generation of spies disguised as a preschool teacher. Suspended indefinitely for extreme maternal tendencies. The council chamber was silent. "She's not just a human," said Counselor Soor. "She's the human," added Gorks. "She invented the casserole-based siege," whispered another. Ambassador Hurl returned from his encounter changed. He now dressed in hand-sewn robes and spoke in rhyming parables. "She didn't threaten us," he said, eyes glazed with enlightenment. "She offered us soup." In a final act of desperation, the Council tried to appeal to her nostalgia. They sent a crate of Earth artifacts. A boombox. A VHS of Footloose. A dusty Rubik's Cube. One Chuck Norris poster. She returned the cube, solved. And the poster, autographed. On the back, a note. "Chuck sends love. We still spar Thursdays." Some systems tried appeasement. Planet Glarks offered her their throne. She mailed back a pancake with a frowny face burned into it. Translation confirmed it meant, "Don't try so hard." Others tried threats. One fleet beamed in near her asteroid, activated shields, and prepared to fire. They found their ship covered in hand-knitted cozies. Each torpedo wrapped in yarn. Each missile, gently cradled in a blanket labeled, "Shoe." They disarmed themselves in shame. Then came the twist no one expected. Baba Yaga accessed the Council archive using an old Earth frequency, 92.7 FM. She uploaded a broadcast across every known system. Her voice, calm, measured, older than war. "You call me dangerous. I call you impolite. You want to conquer. I want to sit in peace. But you won't stop knocking. So now, I answer." She continued. "You built armies from metal. I built character with wooden spoons. You study war. I survived it, then raised children in its shadow. You want fear. I offer responsibility." She ended with a laugh. "Also cookies. But not for you. Not yet." The galaxy shifted that day. She didn't destroy anyone. She didn't need to. Suddenly, battle tactics included grandmother countermeasures. Elite soldiers trained in T-resistance. And every admiral now carried at least one handkerchief. Just in case. Back at her asteroid, Baba Yaga rocked. Watched the stars realign themselves around fear and wonder. A drone floated close. "Ma'am, the Council wishes to de-escalate." She nodded. "Good. I have pie left." The drone hesitated. "Should I warn them it's a trap?" She chuckled. "Child, the trap isn't the pie." She sipped her tea. "It's the manners." The stars shifted before the Council did. By the time their ships formed a blockade around the asteroid Baba Yaga called home, The old woman had already moved her tomatoes. The garden, once lush, was tilled to flat earth. The rocking chair still sat on the porch, faintly creaking in a wind no instruments could detect. The sensors confirmed no movement inside the house. No heat signatures. No signs of life. The fleet commander, Admiral Vesh of the 4th Orion Enclave, adjusted his collar. A former war hero turned strategist, Vesh had brought an armada of over 2,000 warships, quantum javelins, and 10,000 ground troops. He had once shattered a moon just to prove he could. Now he stared at a wooden chair like it was a predator. "We have visual," his officer reported. "Same position. Rocking chair intact. No life forms detected." Vesh didn't blink. "That's what they said at Goran 9. She knit the entire crew into a single sweater." A junior tactician cleared his throat nervously. "Sir, perhaps we initiate dialogue." "No," Vesh drew a breath, slow and sharp. "Initiate operation final cordiality. Send the drone." The drone, a polished envoy platform with perfect posture, a calm digital voice, and an iron-plated T-set, descended from the flagship toward the porch. It touched down without resistance, hovering beside the chair. It waited, then spoke, in soft, respectful tones. "Madam Baba Yaga, on behalf of the Galactic Council, we extend an invitation to parley. We come in peace and offer silence, should that be your desire." The chair continued to rock. No reply. The drone paused. "We have brought butter this time." The rocking stopped. For exactly 3 seconds. Then resumed. The drone shivered, if such a thing were possible. Back on the bridge, Vesh clenched his jaw. "We gave her the option. She didn't take it, sir." "Which means," Vesh said, "we just became the noise she warned us not to make." Without another word, he gave the command. The sky above the asteroid turned to fire. Photon shells lit the upper atmosphere, plasma lances sliced through air, and gravitational torpedoes screamed toward the coordinates of the cabin. And then, everything stopped. Every weapon froze midair. Suspended. Unmoving. The feed from every ship went static. Not fuzzy but still. Frozen frames. Then they began to move, backwards. Missiles retracted. Blasts recoiled. Time reversed. The Admiral's coffee mid-sip returned to its cup. The bridge crew blinked in unison. What is this?" A new feed appeared. Not from their systems. From hers. One by one, every ship's central display lit up with a live broadcast. Baba Yaga, sitting in her chair, gently petting a cat that had not been there moments ago. The feline purred like a miniature thunderstorm. "Now then," she said softly, "you've had your tantrum." Her eyes locked onto the camera. Each crew member felt the gaze. Not just saw it, felt it. As if their thoughts had been laid bare, sifted, and labeled like old keepsakes in a forgotten attic. "I warned you, children. I said I was retired. I said I was planting squash. But you wouldn't let an old woman rock in peace." She raised her hand. Not to strike. To gesture toward the sky behind her. It fractured. The stars, once steady, trembled like frightened birds. Lines of light curled inward, folding space into corners the galaxy had long since paved over. Behind her porch, something stepped forward. It wore no shape. It shimmered like memory. And it obeyed her. She didn't even turn around. "I made friends in my younger days," she said, fingers stroking the cat's ear. "Some of them weren't from Earth. Some weren't even from this timeline." Aboard Vesh's flagship, every screen began translating her words into equations. Ancient ones. Forbidden ones. Some from races thought extinct. Some from races that never existed yet. Then she smiled. And said just 3 words. "Rocking chair, rise." It did. The chair, the same harmless creaking symbol of elderly calm, rose from the porch like a summoned god. It grew. Wheels unfolded. Stars bent. The legs extended into engines. The back curved into a control array powered by metaphysical regrets. Yarn flared like solar sails. The entire structure pulsed with a presence that was not built, but remembered into existence. The chair rose above the cabin. And kept going. Her figure remained seated, cat nestled in her lap, as the last defense fleet backed away on instinct. What is this? Someone cried aboard the second cruiser. Admiral Vesh had no answer. She's piloting the house? Another shouted. No, Vesh muttered. She is the house. The last ship to open fire exploded into rose petals. No debris. Just scent. Hours later, the broadcasts began. Not military orders. Not destruction. Knitting tutorials. Cookbook entries. Letters of forgiveness, written in every tongue. And one recurring message. You've had your warning. Let the elders rest. Or next time, I bring the rocking chair to you. Years passed. The galaxy changed. In subtle ways at first. Then all at once. Weapon production declined. Diplomacy rose. Veteran warlords founded baking guilds. Armies disbanded and took up gardening. A memorial asteroid was commissioned in her honor, though no one dared to call it that publicly. Just a plaque with a rocking chair carved into obsidian. No name. Everyone knew. One day, a child on a border moon saw a glowing light above the clouds. A slow creak. A soft breeze. And a voice carried on the wind. Mind your manners. The child dropped her blaster. And picked up a book instead. Final report filed by Counselor Sewer. She didn't end the galaxy. She reknitted it. Thread by thread. Until we remembered how to be kind. And somewhere, drifting through the stars, the last rocking chair continues to rock. Not as a threat. But a warning. And a hope. That maybe, just maybe, some power was never meant to be contained. It was meant to sit quietly in the corner. And wait.